Hey, friends, happy holidays! What have you guys been up to lately? Oh, hey, Quicks, yeah, we've been, getting into Warhammer lately, you should come join us one of these days. Nah, no thanks, it's not really my cup of tea, but thanks though. Hey, happy New Year's, friends! How you guys doing? Oh, still playing that Warhammer, I see. Oh, hey, Q, yeah, it's been fun, do you wanna come watch us while we learn our first games? Yeah, sure, why not? I'll at least come, watch and hang out. And you're sure you don't want to try it? Come on, we know you'll cave. You're totally gonna give in. Yeah, I think I'll pass for now. I just don't know that I can justify it right now with the time commitment and the cost associated. The last thing I need is another hobby these days. Hello, fine-feathered friends, and welcome back to the Gaming Bucket List, the series where I complete as many of the triumphs, challenges, or just attempt some things I've always wanted to try. Today is a bit of a departure from the norm because it's the first and perhaps only video in the series that is not a video game, and a bucket list item I didn't know I wanted to include until after I had already started. Warhammer 40,000. Now, I've always been at least vaguely familiar with Warhammer. I'm a huge D&D and tabletop nerd, so obviously I can't go into a local game store without seeing the Games Workshop section, but it wasn't until a few buddies of mine started getting into Warhammer that I started to see it up close and personal. Before this, I had seen tons of animations and short films in the past, and obviously, as Warhammer became more popular, it's much easier for me to be exposed to the franchise. And listen, I'm not really a fan of the crazy extreme ends of the lore of 40k. There's crazy magic stuff, high-tech mumbo-jumbo, freaky mutant marines, and gigantic robot cathedrals. I always found that a bit silly, and it's initially what turned me off of the whole aesthetic. But I did always admire the less fantastical factions of the franchise. One that stood out to me was, of course, Astra Militarum, or Imperial Guard. And as the human fighter basic bitch that I am, I was keen to check this faction out. I thought to myself for a while, wow, this reminds me of something like Helldivers or Halo, where the soldiers of humanity are holding the line against insurmountable odds and cosmic horrors. I know there's already lots of love for the Cadian Guardsmen in the world of minis and the games and the wider franchise, but oh man, the Deathcore of Krieg has always been super cool to me. I love their long coats and their gas masks and the really cool, like, old world aesthetic, and their lore is kind of interesting too. I wonder if Games Workshop will ever make kits for the... So, yeah. There we were, and in the span of like a month, I'd collected and assembled enough of an army to try my hand at playing 40k for the very first time. Rather than jump in completely solo, one of my good friends who also plays Imperial Guard agreed to half and half a co-op game. Our friend, acting as the opponent, was playing Space Marines, specifically Salamanders, and it was an absolute blast. Even though it took us several hours to actually make it through the first battle round.
What time is it?
It's 9/11.
We've been here for
It's about an hour.
over an hour, and we haven't taken our turn yet. But over the last few months, my collection has grown through many iterations. I also didn't want that pal who plays Guard to feel like I was just copying him and limiting our variety of armies, so I, started a Necron collection as well, just so we would have some variety. They also look pretty fucking cool. I've played a dozen or so full games since then, and at the time of this voiceover, I have not won a single game, but I swear I'm getting better. And now, as I write this, several months after the fact, I find myself with not one, but two whole-ass armies. The Guard collection is right around 5,000 points, and my backup army of Necrons is a little over 3,500. Initially, the biggest things that kept me from this hobby was the scope, the cost, and the gatekeeping. Walking into a Warhammer section of any gaming store can feel really intimidating, and it's easy to get overwhelmed with all the different factions and the kits and the gameplay rules, but once you pick the one faction that you think looks cool, hell, even just a singular kit of models, the rest can come naturally with enough time, patience, and practice. Don't try to understand everything. I sure as hell don't. And just enjoy the surface level stuff that looks or even sounds cool. The cost is also a huge detractor, and yeah, I won't lie, Warhammer has made me budget in ways that I have not had to do since college. It also doesn't help that I picked one of the most expensive armies to collect, and then had the audacity to grab a backup army just for funsies. That being said, one of the greatest resources for new players is the secondhand market and discount retailers. Several units in my collection were resells or trades from previous owners, and more still were bought at a heavy discount from online stores that charge more reasonable prices for a box of plastic soldiers. I want to give the biggest shoutouts to my 3D printing pals who also supplemented huge portions of this hobby. Seriously, if you have a resin printer and know how to use it well, I guarantee your Warhammer buddies will adore you. But the folks that don't deserve your adoration are the gatekeepers. These are likely folks who have been invested in this franchise for a really long time. Being new and inexperienced in any community can be really daunting, but I was especially scared of the tabletop wargamers who always seemed so protective of their craft. The barrier to entry felt so high, and if it wasn't for my casual home games with friends, I would never have taken an interest in this hobby. Having a social group to rely on for noob questions, painting parties, and shared camaraderie is 100% worth it. The idea of playing against a total stranger who runs the most meta armies and builds their lists with the most toxic and unfun units just does not appeal to me. I've also heard tale of rampant cheating and super sweats who want nothing more than to just win and prove themselves, and that's just not fun. This hobby scratches the same itch that D&D does, where I can get together with friends and create an exciting narrative with strategic dice rolling. The highs and lows of seeing those dice results and all the laughter that comes with it. It's a multifaceted hobby with so many different things to enjoy. The first is the building and the collecting, the second is the painting, and the third is the tabletop. And if you're really interested, the secret bonus side is the lore. I'm not really there yet, but so far it's just a wacky, cool franchise. I know this video was quite the departure from the norm, but I realized while writing this script that I had always kind of wanted to try Warhammer, but I was too intimidated and didn't have the friends to try it with. And so that makes 40k the most recent item on the bucket list that I can confidently check off. Thank you all so much for humoring me on this one, and I certainly hope to see you back in the next, 6 to 8 months when I can churn out another edited video. In the meantime, feel free to swing by the Twitch channel or the Stay In Discord and say hi. Alright then, until next time, bye.